So I've got Eric Vostein with me today. We've been working on a dugout canoe project and it's been great. We've been using a whole bunch of tools. I mean, we've probably got 30 different steel tools over there to help us do this project, but obviously they didn't always have steel tools.
Yeah, so today I brought a stone axe, and this one would be, roughly 600 years ago style.
Okay.
And you know, these are, when we talk about axes, there's a few key things. One of them, probably the biggest one, is edge profile. And so a stone axe, steel is a lot stronger than stone and less brittle. So you're able to get this thin edge profile where every time you hit, it dives deeper into the wood. Mm-hmm. With stone, that edge almost has to be 90 degrees.
Yeah.
So what happens is you don't get as much depth each time. There is a little offset though, because while that one sticks and you have to pull it out, this one bounces every time. So you're able to get a better cadence.
In a rhythm, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And so in the end, I would say that this is between 30 and 50% as effective as steel in this configuration. And these are fairly evenly matched. Of course, the other big thing is the other big factors are handle length and weight. Mm-hmm. So all other things being equal, I would say that stone cuts 30 to 50% as fast.
What kind of stone is this and what do they usually use?
This is a type of granite, and that was fairly common. You'll see a lot of different materials though. Of course, the harder materials hold an edge better, but the softer materials are easier to sharpen. Just like.
What about like flint? What's that?
You do see some things that are like flint axes, and you see polished groundstone flint axes that are really tedious to make. To be honest, I've never used one, so it would be interesting to try a flint versus other materials.
How would they have made a polished one like that?
So it's called there's a peck and grind process to begin with. So one of the things about this, I'll pop it out of here so we can talk about it. It's just pressure fit. And the reason it doesn't split, by the way, is that it's not touching on the sides. So as you pound,
it's doing all
it's pulling, not splitting, and that's why we're able to use this in such with such intense
we'll see
hits.
Later on,
Yeah. So anyway, let me pop this out of here.
There you go.
There. So that is actually one of the nice things about this. You can pop this out and use it as a hand tool as well, very quickly.
Yeah.
It's made by peck and grind. So you start with like a quartzite cobble, and you're taking a rough rock and shaping it by tapping and tapping, and it just gradually dusts away the rock. Mm-hmm. And then the final, there are different ways to do it, but my favorite is a nice sandstone slab underwater, and because the water will run away the
particles,
dust, the particles, and you basically just finish polishing it up like that. It is a tedious process.
How many hours do you think it is?
I would say 40 to 60 hours, depending on what you start with and what your goal is. You're looking at a minimum of 40 to 60 hours. However, it is a very durable item. Yeah. So once you spend that 40 to 60 hours, you have a very solid tool.
So archaeologically, do these show up often?
They do. You see these. This style is called a celt. There are also the grooved styles that have grooves around them. The grooved ones tend to be older. These are a more recent. And I think it's possible that they're a technological advancement. It's also possible that they're just doing different things with them. And that's why you have the different...
and probably different regions do different things.
Right, different regions. And through time, they change over time. So yeah, this is one that you would have seen maybe 600 years ago in the Midwest. Mm-hmm. And I would say that in our region right here, these are a little less common than the grooved ones. Mm-hmm. And you find these in association with certain cultures more than others in different time frames.
Let's see these guys in action. We can compare this guy to that guy.
Let's do it. This fits in here one way. And first thing I have to do is just set it. And that sets it in there with that pressure fit. And that's all it is just a pressure fit. And of course, it's the same as with same technique with about anything. Let's do a little chopping here.
Okay.
So what was that, about 20 hits? 15?
Right, and this is fresh cut cherry, so it's pretty hard.
Pretty hard wood.
Right, and you know, I can get in there pretty quick, but it will stick after a bit.
You will get occasional sticks, depending on how you use it.
I can see why they moved up to iron tools in a hurry.
Absolutely, it's faster, and I usually say this one is between 30 and 50% as fast, depending on what you're doing and what what your specific task is.
But if you don't have steel, I mean, what are you going to do?
Right, and it's like you could say that a chainsaw is a lot faster than that.
Right.
So where do you draw the line, and what's your reference point?
Sure. So you've got this tool. Have you used this in any big projects?
Have. We, with a bunch of other people and a group of fifth graders, built a dugout canoe, and we started by burning the tree down, and we used antler wedges and wood gluts to split the top and bottom, and chopped it with stone axes and burned it out. And it took a while, but we did do it, and it does work. I've made some interesting observations using them too. Number one, if you chop a tree that's about that big, if we drop a tulip that big around down with this, it would take us something like 40 hours.
Right.
I burned one down in 16 hours. And when I say 40 hours, I mean 40 hours of solid chopping. And in that 16 hours, we fed the fire once or twice an hour and sipped coffee a good portion of the time. Now we had to gather the wood, so there is that. But here's kind of the key takeaway from this whole thing. If you're going to burn this tree down, it's going to take you longer to start the fire than it is to chop it down with this. So you're going to use this because it's less time. Once that tree hits, well, somewhere in about this range right here, maybe about right there, 16 inches. At some point, it becomes easier to burn it down than to chop it down with one of these.
So you can see there's always this mix between, is fire a better tool or is stone a better tool? And they were doing that all the time.
That's right. And of course, through the massive amounts of accumulated knowledge that these people had, they knew what was best and could do a lot of amazing things that I don't think we even understand fully.
Okay.
So one of the things about this that I have discovered is that this is an absolutely wonderful bark peeling tool.
Really?
Yes. So this is an all-in-one bark peeling tool, and I know you've done a little bark peeling. I've done quite a bit of bark peeling myself. When you peel bark, you chop around the base of the tree, and then you chop a ring up high, and then you make a cut. Well, this tool makes that chop very quickly, almost as quickly as steel, because it bounces. And with steel, you often have to remove it each time. So this thing, you just bump around the tree, then you make your top cut, and then to make the vertical cut, you pop this out and hit it with a mallet right down. And then, if you notice, a lot of these ancient handles, there are very few of them that have been found, but they tend to have a wedge up here. That is a bark spud. So you make your cut, you make your slice, and then this, you've already got it out, and you pry the bark off of the tree. So this isn't, with nothing but this tool, I can walk into the woods and peel sheets of bark.
So, I mean, that makes me think about modern design versus 18th century design European. And it seems like a lot of European designs from the time period are very, very overly complex. This is a very subtle and combined design, much more like what we do in modern times.
It is. This, I consider this to be a rather advanced,
high tech.
Really. High tech. It really is. It's high tech, and it's ingenious, and it works great. I've done it a number of times.
If you're interested in learning more about Eric and his tools and all the different sorts of things he does, make sure to check out his website. I'll put a link down in the description box. And if you want to see more about the Dugout Canoe project, check this video out. Thanks for watching.